Today is January 29th, and today's quote is entitled, Rectify Yourself. Try to rectify yourself rather than blaspheme the nature or activities of others. This is my instruction. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakura. This is such an important instruction because by nature, spontaneously, without even thinking, we just criticize. We just have a tendency to criticize because in the material world, things are very criticizable. Nothing is perfect. Nothing is exactly the way we want it, either situations or people. So it's natural to criticize. Oh, this should have had more spice, or this should have been another color, or that book cover, it's not good, or that kirtan was too loud. It's just natural tendency to not be satisfied with the way things are because things are not perfect. And we can't make them perfect. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is giving very good advice. When you understand that there's such a strong tendency to criticize, that unless we use it to be self-reflective, to find out what is wrong with ourselves, it'll naturally be destructive because we'll be using that tendency, as we said, very strong tendency, to find fault with other people. And that tendency in the conditioned state of life is so strong, it just continues and continues. So you want to do it, very interesting exercise, get a clicker, carry it on your finger, and every time you criticize someone or something, oh, it's too hot today, oh, the prasadam was too spicy, or the class was too long. Whatever it is, little or big, just click it. And tonight at 10 o'clock, see the number. You will be probably astonished, maybe depressed to see it. But it will prove one point very clearly. We have a very strong tendency to criticize. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is just saying, use that tendency to explore your own world so that you can thereby improve yourself. It's a very simple principle. If you don't know what's wrong with yourself, you can't do anything. And plus, you can't do anything about what's wrong with others, generally. They don't want your advice. They don't want your help. So even though we may be very critical, it has really, in most cases, no utility. But it has utility when we examine ourselves because we can do something about it. And if we don't even see what's wrong with ourselves, obviously we can't do anything. So the beginning to solution to any problem is acknowledgement. And I know sometimes our egos are so big, it's very, very difficult for us to acknowledge the reality of where we're at. But we are where we're at, whether we acknowledge it or not, and it's smart to just acknowledge it. Just like if you're on the road going somewhere, it would be foolish not to acknowledge where you are, just to make yourself feel good that you're closer to your goal, when in fact, you're not as close as you think. Just acknowledge where you're at, and then deal with it. And that's what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta is saying. Acknowledge where you're at, look at it. Don't worry about where other people are at. It's really none of our business unless that's our service. But our service is to recognize where we're at and then work on ourselves. So simple. Why don't we get these things? Because the tendency to see what's wrong with others and other situations, it overcomes us. And we have to work on that. We have to be aware of that. Otherwise we'll be overcome by it. And we'll just, be clicking away complaints and faults for the rest of our lives. When's it going to stop? It's a good question. When are you going to stop it? We actually have to make a conscious effort. Hare Krishna.